Can we talk about fall kitchen gardens for a minute? It might be 95 degrees where I live. It might only be the first week of October, but I'm gonna sear pumpkin spice and I'm gonna raise you electrolytes in a reusable jar from my kitchen because it's so darn hot outside, but we have to get to work.
Are you making fun of my construction?
I don't know if fun is the right word to use for the situation happening right now. It's the reason I have to do the garden today because so much is happening between, we've got calves on the milk cow, we're clearing space for a milk parlor, we've got the entire garden to go, but if I really focus on all the things, I get nothing done. We're gonna focus on these two Vigo beds, and thank you to Vigo for sponsoring this video. They have some amazing products that I have already shared with you in the past, and a lot more that I'm excited to bring to you soon. These beds are my favorite beds. We have built beds, we have purchased other cedar-based beds, we have made them tall, we have made them down to the ground. These are my favorite beds, and I am happy to say that after years of using them. So these two beds are in a really high traffic area. It's why they've had nothing planted in them for so long, but we're about to do some work on our house soon, and I think if I have to run back and forth between the gardens, I'm gonna miss a lot. So I'm actually gonna concentrate on my kitchen herbs and some medicinal plants being planted in these beds so I have quick access right from the house. We're gonna remediate the soil here and then we're gonna cover them with wood chips, and I hope that's something you hang around for because I think there's something really helpful to say about the benefit of wood chips in your fall garden. Behind that wall is my kitchen. This is my kitchen garden. So something I really like about these beds is that they're like a no-brainer to assemble. I really think a lot of Vigo beds and their products make gardening accessible to people. I'm not a great gardener. Like, I don't have a gardening channel, but I love growing things. And I love how ironic to say that these very inconvenient things, growing our garden, milking a cow, these things take time. It's ridiculous. But somehow, these very inconvenient avenues to food have made food so much more convenient for my family. So we're gonna plant all kinds of herbs in here today. Those are gonna carry us into the cooler months. I'm gonna preserve them. I'm gonna make pesto. I'm gonna make all kinds of things that I put into the freezer and then have access to throughout the year. So if gardening's ever been intimidating for you, these beds take the intimidation out. 2 of my children assembled tons of beds this past summer and it was so simple. They then carried them out and set them down and we just began preparing the bed. I can't recommend this enough. This is an 8x4 right here. And here's why I like an 8x4. Not only do I get a ton of space, but I can access absolutely everything that I'm gonna plant. So if I even plant 3 rows, this is not too far for me to reach to get to that middle row. And then obviously you just walk around, but that's why I like a 4x8 bed because it's just accessible. So I'm not doing this like on purpose to till up the soil, but there are so many things that I appreciate about nature in the way that she dresses herself that make me have to dig a little deeper to make this work. Even though it's super dry and dusty, this is still really good earth underneath this. My husband is frugal, if nothing else, unless it comes to camera equipment, in which case he is like, no, let's go bougie. However, this is as homemade as it gets, guys. This dirt we raised, we grew, we collected, we composted. This dirt is actually from our cow. We have a 3-year-old Jersey, Goldie, who is the love of my life. And Goldie is a dairy cow that we bought while I was like 3 months pregnant and just desperate for calories. And so why not buy an entire cow for that, right? In that time, her milk has gone to our pigs. It has gone to our family. It has helped us make ice cream and all amazing, wonderful things you can get from dairy. But it's also the impact that your cow has on your property. So each morning when we go in to milk our cow, we also muck, and we just take that manure and pile it up over time. And at the end of the time, at the end of a season, we will get that manure after having turned it and added some more brown matter to it, and it is this beautiful compost. This has been sitting here for about, I think it's been about 2 years since we planted in this bed. So it definitely needs some amendments. The best thing that we can do is fill this bed to the brim so that there's less and less room for weeds. But even with the weeds, we do not have a tough time preparing this bed for a fall harvest. Well, I guess it'll be a late fall harvest, early winter for harvest. I don't even know if you can hear me over our air conditioning that it's October now, and it's been running at least since April. Howdy, y'all. Texas is outdoing herself, I would say. I don't think we've had rain in a month, and we're not expecting it for another month.
Don't make fun of my bin.
Do you not also have a bin of odds, ends, and things that you'll probably never need again while you were gardening?
Well, I didn't drink that.
That's actually for sure mine. All right, I have several different things that I can add to the soil. Quite frankly, I don't know what the soil needs, and I'm not gonna do the work to try and figure it out. I'm just gonna put bone meal on because bone meal is better than nothing. Be liberal. I'll mix it in. I'll probably get it wet even before I put the seeds in just because it's so sad. But quite frankly, this is as dusty as the rest of my entire property. And we're gonna be thankful that we have property today, guys. I promise you, the thing that you are complaining about probably has something that you can be excited about instead. Let's get excited about dust. I could use a rake for this, but honestly, I just want to get my hands dirty. Because it's been a little while since I've gotten my hands dirty. Even this out a little bit. Yes, I know leaves are going to be in here, guys. It's going to be okay. I promise you the garden will still grow if there are some leaves in it, I promise. But thank you for the comments. I want to show you what it looks like to put this on the dirt in my area. This dirt is hydrophobic. The water just wants to puddle on top or roll away. It is like sand, but not sand, it's like dust. So if you have dirt in this area and it's not absorbing, it's because there's just not enough carbon on top. So later this week, we're gonna put hay down, like old hay, just in some of our very dusty pathways on our property. We're gonna put more compost and more wood chips in our garden beds just to lay down more organic matter. The cows also help a ton with that. When they're grazing, they're putting down all of this manure and they're trampling things that we don't want to keep growing. There is stuff that you can do to your soil that super stinks. Like, it's less than desirable. You can fix that. A large scale is harder to fix, but starting in your beds and just learning what it looks like to establish a really resilient soil is always a goal. And your soil health matters. It matters for the food that you're going to eat. We're going to level this out with a little bit more compost. Fresh from the cow. No, I'm kidding. It was once fresh from the cow. It's not. Don't put cow poop on your stuff. It's
been properly aged.
Yeah, you need it like a fine wine. Well, I think we've also just decided after this season, like, we have to water, and we have to water ahead of the drought. But it's hard. It's hard to justify your water bill being hundreds of dollars. So actually what I'd like to do, we made a lot of effort this last year. For 9 months, all we did was dig irrigation and rotate our animals and watch for when we could seed. And I think we made effort. I think there's effort and I think there's a result for that. But it shows you that projects like stewarding the land and restoring root systems so that your topsoil stays where it should is a long-term effort. So in order to keep irrigation going, keep watering places that need watering that we want to grow orchards, for example. We're going to have to establish some rainwater collection further away from our house so that the water can go into the ground and stay where it needs to instead of running off. So like we have irrigation, that's great. But that's going to be an insane amount of water on our bill. So we're going to have to find ways to harvest what we already have and then put it to use. This is a little like making a lasagna. Or, in fact, I think this was like a hugelkultur bed. I think we have sticks underneath here. Hey, don't come near me. Just like, hey, I heard you're putting new dirt in. I'd love to scratch it up for you. I would love you not to do that, chicken. I get it. Everybody loves chickens. I am not a crazy chicken leg. Give me a cow any day. I'll deal with them and I'll appreciate them for the eggs that they provide. But I do not love chickens. I will not be holding them. I will not be enjoying them. I don't even name them. They are here. They serve a purpose. Appreciate their role in the ecosystem. Jason and Lorraine have a chicken on their shirt and her name's Bernice and she's lovely. Actually, they might have had a lot of Bernices. I don't know. I'll have to ask Lorraine. So one thing that I think I've shared with you guys here is that I have a little bug, a little buzz, a little excitement, a little like dreaminess about flower farming. I have no idea what that looks like for us, if that's going to be something that I pursue like as a financial thing, or if I just want to grow the heck out of some flowers and have beautiful flowers all year round. So I'm planting things like I've got chamomile going here and then carrots. Carrots are really fun, especially for little kids. So I've got a 2-year-old who honestly just spent all her social coins at homeschool co-op today. So she is not gardening with me now, but these are carrots and radishes are something that I love to give her to plant. All right, we've got some dill. I am desperate to save dill this year because I learned how to make homemade ranch. And I need dill in my life. And I'm so sad that I have gone so long without dill in my life. It's a big deal, guys. And I have to remember that that is dill. Hey, this video will help me remember. That's great. Okay, I have sunflowers. And maybe I shouldn't plant these in this bed. Yeah, because then it'll shade. We're gonna put these back. I made a terrible mistake.
I think you're fine.
Putting sunflowers here, they're not gonna get enough sun.
How much sun do they need?
More than this. Look here, 2 fell, and there they shall grow. Done.
Super fresh.
Super fresh. There we go.
Love it.
When you have fresh wood chips, these are what go on top. Don't mix these into the soil. You see wood chips in my soil already. These were aged, or they aged on top like this. So they might have been fresh like this at one point, and then they aged over time. They break down. If I were to put this into the ground right away, it would steal nutrients from my soil. All my plants would turn out kind of like sad, light green. They would be really nutrient deficient. So wood chips are really easier to come by than you think. In the city, there's something called chip drop. If a tree company was taking down a tree and they mulched it out, they'll come and drop it at your house. So you just have to sign up for this. If you live on large acreage or like space enough or no HOA, you can have an entire dump truck dropped full of wood chips. These are from a lawn project that we had. We're clearing space for a milk parlor we're building. And these are just left over from that. So we're not gonna mix it in. We're just gonna put about 1.5 inches on top of the soil. Then we're gonna water it. And then I have to water it every day for a few days because our area is so dry. The wood chips are gonna retain the moisture, and they kind of are this like regulating system for the garden bed. So when I'm putting wood chips on, I am keeping moisture on the soil, but then let's say it rains, a crazy heavy rain, then the wood chips also will regulate evaporating the water appropriately so that my bed doesn't get waterlogged as long as there are wood chips here. So they kind of provide this like innate sense to the garden, like an innate regulator to the garden. As they decompose, they're providing nutrients back into the soil. So like the fresh ones are gonna steal it, but the old ones are depositing. After this season, this will all break down into soil that's really healthy and nutrient dense to plant into, or nutrient rich is the right word for that. Weeding with mulch is so much easier. Your roots of your weeds just don't take hold the same way with this. So I like mulch for the top. You could also use straw if you have access to that. This garden is ready for winter. If you're in a cold space and you need to dress it up, you can plant cover crops. You can just cover it with straw or wood chips, and you'll put your garden to bed. But if you're amongst the lucky, the few, the ones sweating it out in the fall like me, and you have a long gardening season ahead of you, now is the time to plant. We're gonna be partnering with vegogarden beds and all of their products in the future more and more. So you'll see more from them. And if you have questions about them, we'll have links in the description below where you can check out their products or see other videos where we've used them. And we're happy to answer questions. Thanks for being with us, guys. We'll see you on the next one.